Welcome to what I am calling intentional root, where transformation starts at the root. I am your host, Caleb. Let's go. So, before I begin this conversation, I would like to challenge the phrase church hurt. And if I could be honest, I don't believe that the term church hurt is entirely accurate. The church is made up of people. Therefore, if the church consists of people, then in many ways, all hurt is ultimately people hurt. Uh, what many individuals are actually experiencing are the effects of politics, manipulation, image management, hypocrisy, and unhealthy systems that can sometimes exist within church culture. The the distinction matters because when people or even pastors speak about church hurt, they often use the analogy uh, of the restaurant, right? Where if you go to a restaurant and you get food poisoning, you don't stop eating at restaurants. You don't call it restaurant hurt, right? However, the issue with that comparison is, a restaurant never claimed to represent God. A restaurant never told people, this is family. We are family. This is where your healing happens, or, this is healing. This is the truth, or this is spiritual covering. So as a result, the impact is profoundly different. In many cases, people are not hurt by God, nor are they necessarily hurt by the concept of church itself. They are, however, hurt by the contradiction. They are hurt by the witnessing individuals publicly preaching transformation while privately protecting dysfunction. They are hurt by witnessing individuals publicly preaching transformation while privately protecting dysfunction. They are hurt by systems that prioritize protection or protecting the institution's image over protecting the people within it. And if we are unwilling to speak honestly about these realities, genuine healing becomes exceedingly difficult. Some people don't walk away from church because people made mistakes. They walk away because when the mistakes are exposed, truth becomes negotiable. Because somewhere along the way, protecting the name of the ministry becomes more important than protecting the people inside of it. And that's where real damage actually begins. For myself, I've been kicked out of a church before. And what is crazy about that was some of the same things I was judged for openly were happening privately behind the scenes. That confusion messes with people's minds, because you start asking yourself, is this really about holiness, or is this about exposure? And if we're honest, some people are not uncomfortable with sin. They're uncomfortable with sin being seen, because as long as it says, as long as it stays hidden, the brand stays protected. And that's the part people don't want to talk about. Everybody talks about church hurt, but very few people talk about what actually creates it. Church hurt is not just flawed people making mistakes. Church hurt is hypocrisy. It's the silence, it's the gaslighting, it's the manipulation, it's selective accountability, it's protecting platforms over people. Um, Church hurt is making wounded people feel dangerous for telling the truth. The church should be the safest place to tell the truth, but sometimes people feel safer confessing to strangers, uh, in person or online, than speaking honestly inside the church. Um, and we have to ask ourselves why. Because when people are hurting, they should not feel like protecting the institution matters more than protecting the soul. That's not restoration. That's reputation management, right? And the truth is, I've seen more brokenness inside church culture than I've ever saw in the world. Not because the church is supposed to be perfect, but because the church is supposed to be honest. The world tells you exactly what it is, but sometimes church culture teaches people how to hide, teaches people how to perform, how to look spiritual, how to maintain appearance while silently dying inside. And eventually we become more committed to the image than transformation. And that right there, that is dangerous, because once exposure becomes more feared than sin itself, people stop pursuing healing. And they start just managing the perception. Now, I want y'all to hear me clearly. I am not attacking the church. This is not an attack on the church. I still believe in the church. I still believe in accountability. I also believe in leadership. And most importantly, I believe God transforms people, right? God Himself transforms people. But truth cannot only matter when it's convenient. That's key. Truth cannot only matter when it's convenient, because people can survive disappointment. What destroys people is deception. What destroys people is watching truth get buried for the sake of protecting the brand. What destroys people is being told, stay quiet, don't say anything. You're causing division. You just need to forgive, while the actual issue is never addressed. Jesus Himself confronted hypocrisy harder than brokenness, because broken people can heal, but hidden pride protected by image eventually corrupts environments. Hidden pride, I'm going to say it one more time. Hidden pride protects the image, or protected by image. The image eventually corrupts environments. Maybe the reason so many people are struggling spiritually is because we created cultures where exposure becomes more dangerous than confession. And that right there should be more concerning than anything to all of us, because real healing begins when truth no longer becomes the enemy. And maybe the church can become healthier when we stop protecting appearance and start protecting the people.